As you guys know, the Peace Corps has a rather competitive application process. So today I'm going to give you 7 tips. Yes, 7 tips on how to become a strong applicant for the Peace Corps and to make them fall in love with your application and your passion and your drive and all that jazz that it takes to become a Peace Corps volunteer. The Peace Corps is the toughest job you will ever love, so keep that in mind before you think about applying. Only watch this if you are 100% going to apply. Let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you meet all of the minimum requirements to be a Peace Corps volunteer. Are you at least 18 years old? Are you a US citizen? Yes? Then congratulations, you meet the 2 mandatory requirements to be a Peace Corps volunteer. There is a 3rd requirement that's not exactly mandatory, but in pretty much every case, what was that? Sorry. In pretty much every case, you need to have a college degree. That's just something that's kind of hard to work around. I suggest you get your college degree anyway. Some countries have a language requirement. They're usually French or Spanish. For example, I'm in China. There is no language requirement in China. Just if you're nervous about that, you can browse. I'm going to give a quick video on browsing and how you can search through all of the opportunities, and you can see which ones have a language requirement. I say tip number 2 a little bit reluctantly because I didn't do this step. Is to connect with a recruiter, and I personally have mixed feelings about this part. I don't think you should contact a recruiter to hold your hand. They are there and they can hold your hand throughout the entire process, but when it comes down to it, if you need somebody to hold your hand through the application process, how are you really gonna survive at your site? Your Peace Corps recruiter is not coming with you, and they're not gonna hold your hand throughout the entire 2-year process. So my personal advice is to have a recruiter, but really only reach out to them in regards to your documents and just having another set of eyes to go over everything. Please do not use them as a crutch. I just think that's like putting yourself in a position to be needy during your service. So even though I did not use a recruiter myself, I will include a link in the description below on how to find a recruiter. It's also through the Peace Corps website. So think about your motives for the types of filters that you're putting on your searches, and just why are you choosing this country? Why are you choosing this particular field? Why do you want to be a Peace Corps volunteer? Just take this time to really think about it, because it's not like a vacation. It's not going to paradise for 2 years. It's a lot of work, and at this point I suggest you try to do as much research into what being an expat in said country is like, and just sort of get an idea for the types of challenges that you might have to go through, because those challenges will be something that you can address in your motivational statement, and how you plan on overcoming those challenges. So just something to keep in mind. Tip number 4, if you haven't already installed Grammarly on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you use. I personally like Grammarly because it does more than just spell check. And so even though you know that you know the 3 different types of there and when to use them, we don't know that you know that. Does that make sense? I think Grammarly gets rid of all those rookie mistakes that we make. Number 5, if you're in college right now, rack up those experiences, because your Peace Corps interview is going to be sort of centered around your experiences. Yeah, they're interested in all that you've accomplished on paper. You're going to be here for 2 years. You need to be really good at building relationships, at integrating and dealing with multiple cultures, conflict resolution. You need to gain experiences that can highlight those buzzwords that they're looking for in the Peace Corps. Study abroad, volunteer locally, get involved with your university's international programs. So even if you can't afford to go abroad, you can at least find ways to interact with international students, so that way you can at least have the experience of having worked with people from different backgrounds, especially if your college is not that diverse. Maybe go to another college or some other campus, some sort of local agency where you can get experience outside of class. I personally got really lucky. This wonderful organization called Global Peace Exchange at FSU, go Noles, that was like a mini Peace Corps. It's like a miniature Peace Corps on campus. So if you can find some sort of small-scale Peace Corps organization on your school's campus, or even find your campus recruiter that could possibly direct you toward those organizations. I also did this thing called conversation partners, where you can, if you're studying languages, you can hang out with these international students once or twice a week and just go do things with them, and they practice their English. So I would like practice Arabic with my friend, and he would practice his English, and we would like go to Applebee's and he'd scream at the waiter because he didn't know that that was like culturally insensitive here. Anyway, just those experiences are super fun, and it was free, and you meet cool people along the way, and you don't have to like pay for a plane ticket to another country, but you're still getting the cultural insight. So anything that can put you in that sort of a position, I say go for it. I gave you tips 6 and 7, which both have to deal with the documents that you submit, so your resume and your motivational statement. Now, for your resume, I suggest the STAR method. It just kind of explains, I think, the situation, the task that you did, your action item, and a result. I don't know. I didn't use the STAR method on my resume when I applied to the Peace Corps. I got accepted, so it's not required. But keep in mind that the process is competitive now, and it's only going to continue to become more competitive. So my last resume tip is to actually go onto the Peace Corps website and find the exact position that you want to apply for. For me, it was the TEFL project. So you can scroll down and see, one, if there are any language requirements and whatnot. You can read the project. Scroll down to required skills and kind of paraphrase these into your resume, because this is exactly what they're looking for. And if you can somehow find a way to fit all of these skills into your resume will be tailored specifically for this position. And if you're really feeling yourself, you can scroll on down to the desired skills and put these in there as well. But do not lie. If you do not actually have experience with any of these, do not put them in your resume, because you will be asked about them. The last tip is for the motivational statement, and I found this super helpful blog post. I'm gonna post the link down in the description. She goes into detail about what she believes the Peace Corps is looking for in your motivational statement, and I completely agree with her, and I think that the guide she provides is super helpful. It's very straightforward. She gives examples on strong responses and responses that could use a little bit of work, and it's just really well put together, easy to read. So take a look at that. So at the end of the day, you can have all these things. You can have a wonderful motivational statement. You can have an excellent resume with a lot of experience. You can be at least 18 years old and a US citizen and have a college degree, but if your mindset's not in the right place, they're gonna know. It's easy to see when someone is passionate. My interview was like a video interview, and she could see how excited I was just talking about helping people. I tried to explain how my past and the people that I helped in the past provided me with skills, or helped me develop the skills that I want to use in the Peace Corps. So talk about, this is like a bonus tip, I guess. It needs to be like this continuing effect, right? You are bringing something to the table, but you want to take something from Peace Corps to like use somewhere else, okay? If you are an RPCV or a recruiter, you work in the placement office, and you just happen to come across this video, please drop me a line and just leave like a comment with another piece of advice that you would like to leave behind or pass on to prospective volunteers, because I mean, why not, right? We should be helping each other. And if you guys have anything else, just please link it below. If you like the video, leave me a like. If you want more videos, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. I knew this day would come, the day where you decide to become a Peace Corps volunteer. My heart, you're gonna hate your life.